unexpected exit of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad has sparked celebrations in Damascus, but across the globe, from New Delhi to Washington, there's a sense of caution and uncertainty about what comes next for Syria. On December 8, Assad was forced to flee Syria as Islamist rebels led by Hayat Tahrir al-Sham entered the capital, marking the end of his 24-year rule. Bashar al-Assad ascended to the Syrian presidency in 2000, inheriting power from his father Hafez al-Assad, who ruled Syria for nearly 30 years. Initially seen as a promising leader with a background in ophthalmology, Assad quickly gained popularity, earning the title of the most popular Arab leader in 2009. His informal style and accessibility to ordinary people were lauded, and he was regarded by many as a reformer. However, Assad's economic liberalization efforts failed to address social inequality, leaving the country's lower classes disenfranchised. By 2011, anger toward Assad's regime had reached a boiling point. Inspired by the Arab Spring uprisings sweeping through North Africa and the Middle East, Syrians took to the streets demanding political reforms. Assad responded with a brutal crackdown, sparking a civil war that quickly escalated into a proxy conflict with the United States, Turkey, and Arab countries supporting the rebels, while Russia, Iran, and Hezbollah backed Assad. The war, characterized by widespread atrocities including chemical weapons attacks, soon became a regional and global struggle for influence. The rise of the Islamic State (ISIS) added another layer of chaos, further complicating the situation. After over a decade of conflict, the situation began to shift in 2024. In recent months, Assad's primary allies, Russia, Iran, and Hezbollah, have been distracted by external conflicts. Russia's war in Ukraine, Iran's struggle with Israel, and Hezbollah's setbacks in the region left Assad increasingly vulnerable. In April 2024, HTS leader Abu Muhammad al-Javlani, who had once been aligned with Al-Qaeda, declared that the group would soon celebrate Eid in Aleppo and Damascus. By December, HTS led the final assault on the Syrian capital, marking a pivotal moment in Syria's long-running war. HTS's emergence has raised concerns about the future of Syria. Now, while the group has distanced itself from global jihadist ambitions, focusing on Syrian nationalism, many analysts, including Aaron Weiselin of the Washington Institute, argue that HTS remains pragmatic rather than ideologically driven. Despite its complex history, the group's success in capturing key cities has left it in a position to shape Syria's future. While Damascus celebrates Assad's ouster, the rest of the world is closely watching the developments. In New Delhi, India's government is cautious, recalling the chaotic aftermath of the Arab Spring in Libya and Egypt. The fall of Gaddafi in Libya and the rise of Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt serve as cautionary tales for those observing Syria's shift. Experts in India and other global capitals are wary of a similar descent into chaos in Syria. In response to the fall of Assad, Hadi al-Bahra, head of the coalition of Syrian revolutionary and opposition forces, declared that Damascus is now without Bashar al-Assad. Opposition fighters speaking on state television announced the liberation of the capital and the release of all political prisoners held by Assad's regime. HTS's al-Javlani, meanwhile, has made efforts to reassure Syria's minorities. Following the group's takeover of Aleppo in November 2024, he emphasized that protecting civilian lives and property was a top priority. He has promised a more inclusive and institutionalized governance system, rejecting the idea of a single ruler making arbitrary decisions. His promises will be closely monitored, especially by countries like India, who remain skeptical of the group's long-term intentions. As Syria enters a new chapter, the world remains uncertain about its future. The international community, particularly in New Delhi, will be watching closely to see whether HTS's actions match its words and whether the country can begin to rebuild after more than a decade of war and bloodshed.